All right, thanks a lot, Lemma. A lot to talk about. 32 games in, Matt Harpring, 34 after the All-Star break to play. Let's just break this down with the truncated season thanks to the lockout. You went through this in 1999, so tell me.
That word, truncated.
Truncated, abbreviated.
Nice.
However you want to describe it. But how do you think the players today, compared to 1999, holding up first physically, mentally, all the above through this first half of the season?
Pretty good, actually. I think players came in better shape this time around than last time around. I think there was a lot more injuries, and there's a lot of injuries this year, but there was a lot more in '99 that year. I think guys back then didn't really know that there was even going to be a season. I think this year around, even though there's a lot of rhetoric around the lockout, I think pretty much every player knew that they were going to play at some point. So I think a lot of players came into shape. Yeah, you're getting a lot of pulls and strains and bruises, but very few, probably 5 to 10 major injuries that have happened so far this year.
You know, from your vantage point now as a broadcaster, looking back as a player, though, what's the biggest challenge during this time? Is it all physical, or how much of it actually is there a mental strife that goes with that?
It's both. It's a lot of both, because it's a hard season for a player. You're talking a lot of back-to-backs, and then we had the back-to-back-to-back at one point in the season, and then you have practice on top of that. So, and then you have to keep your body conditioned. If you're one of those guys to get about 20 minutes or 25 minutes, you got to find ways to get in the weight room, get on the treadmill to keep your body ready, just in case you might get that 30-minute a night. So it's tough. I mean, it's a physical grind.
What was your trick then? I mean, is there a trick?
There's not a trick. You have veterans. I was lucky enough to be with Orlando that year. That was my rookie year, and I had veterans in Penny Hardaway, Horace Grant, Nick Anderson, guys that have been around. They showed me the way to take care of your body, and that's the most important thing. Is when whether it's on the road or home, you got to make sure you get those ice bags on you. You got to make sure you're in good condition, you're eating the right foods, because these games come at you so much. And in a 66-game season, games count more than they do in an 82-game season.
Good point. Let's move ahead and talk about the young guys, because there was a lot of discussion about the blending, the mixing of veterans with the likes of Cantor and the likes of Burks, and where was Gordon Hayward going to be. Let's start first maybe with Enes Kanter. I think personally, from my chair, ahead of schedule, and a young man that really hadn't played basketball in nearly 2 years. What's your thought?
He's impressed me. He's probably been the most impressive rookie from my standard. I thought he, like you said, he was going to be behind. He didn't play last year, and he's only 19.
Right.
So he comes into this league as a big guy. You have a lot to learn, and I think he's come in and played phenomenal. And rebounding the basketball has impressed me. And he goes after the ball. He gets a lot of offensive rebounds. His game is only going to improve. I really think he's a double-double guy in his career. When he finally gets to the point where he's going to start starting in the NBA, he'll be a double-double guy.
In the last 2 weeks, we've seen Alec Burks get more minutes because he earned them. He finds a way to get to the basket. A lot of free throw attempts. He's also shown us he can score with a jumper, and he's been very exciting. And I would think he plays a major role in the second half of this year.
I would think his athletic ability is what you want in a two-guard. He can defend. He's got the physical assets. You love how he has the knack to get to the free throw line. Somehow he can get there, and he uses his body so well in the lane. What he has to work on is his outside shooting. He's got to be a threat. He's got to be a knockdown guy at the two-guard position. If you want to start and be a star in this league, you got to look at the great two guards, and there's a lot of them that have been around, and he's capable of getting there. I mean, this is his first year. He's going to get better, and I think he's going through a learning curve as well, and picking up some notes on saying what he needs to do, not only for the rest of this year, but in the offseason as well to get better.
All right, let's move to the sophomore class, because there's a lot of talent there, and sometimes you see 2 steps ahead and maybe 1 step back, and that's really the case for Gordon Hayward right now.
Yeah. You're right. He's up and down. You just hope consistency. I think the lockout had really hurt the second-year players because they didn't get the summer league. They didn't get a good preseason, and that's where you really want to make your biggest jump for improvement between year 1 and year 2. Gordon has had some great games. He's had not so good games. You want to see in the second half him try to get the consistency level to where he's not going to have those goose eggs of games and maybe a 6 to 8 pointer and only 3 shots. He'll be in the 10 to 15 point range with the 3-4 assists. And I think one area of improvement for him is rebounding the basketball. I think at his size, at the 3 position, he can be a better rebounder. Okay,
and we'll close on Favors here before final thought. But, we see glimpses, too, of what can be a very powerful young guy.
Yeah. Glimpse is exactly right, and I've said this all year long. I think when he can get it together, he can be an all-star. You can't teach the size that he has, the athletic ability, his explosiveness. Those are things that he's just God-given gifts. He's gotten better. He's continuing to get better too as we see his progress, but I think he needs to get one or two go-to moves when he gets the ball in the post, because if he wants to be a scorer, a starter, you got to be a guy that we can throw you the ball in the post and say, hey, go to work, get me a shot, and rely on you to get that shot.
All right, Alema wants it back here, but I've got to ask you, truly, 34 games to play, what will have to happen for this Jazz franchise to make the playoffs?
Well, they're going to have to win on the road. They're going to have to figure the second half season and at least win half those road games. And you got to take care at home. They're doing a pretty good job at home taking care of business, but if you want to be a playoff team, you got to be able to win on the road. And right now, the Jazz have struggled this early part of the year, this first half on the road. They've had one or two good games on the road that they've won. But to be a playoff team, you got to get those wins up on the road.
All right, Matt, good stuff. Alema, that's the story, the insider look from courtside. Let's take it back to you.